to keep an eye on the deployment of guards at all times.
Navigating the world is a whole lot easier with a few different identities.
Olá, Catherine. Oba, amanhã tem missão espontânea. Ah, não tem.
Ad Astra Abyssal. Ad Astra.
An antique site.
Take it easy. quietly now.
I'm out of here. Yeah. And away I go! Illusion shattered! There is no escape! Ha! Ha!
Take it easy. Easy money. Hit. Ha. Yeah. Take it easy. Take it easy. Treasure. One way to draw your target out of hiding. Treasure. One way to draw your target out of hiding. Here comes the catch.
Shine down! Torn to oblivion!
Take it easy. quietly now.
Verdict is...
Game's up. Time's over.
There is no escape! Now you shall perish!
Here comes the catch.
Torn to oblivion! Go, Barbara, go! Add Astro.
Time itself is a science.
Can we play banker next time? All the standing around is making me so sleepy.
Time itself is a science.
I wonder when I'll be as tired.
This can work. I'll just treat them as new.
Take it easy.
What do we do? The whole situation is so confusing. Good plan. Impossible things don't just happen. We'll get to the truth one way or another.
Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects Lenny and Lynette, at least we will be supporting them from the stands. Besides, I doubt Farina understands any more about what happened than we do.
Thanks, Navia. Well, we'll be going then.
Best of luck to you.
Ah, finally, you're back. Well, how did your investigation go?
To be honest,
No, we're already...
Well now, don't you all look disappointed? Don't tell... That was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce... But don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you, my most anticipated foe, concede so...
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regard... Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes...
Yes, of course.
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that case, you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady Farina.
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying. There is no way you could have...
That is simply your hypothesis based on the...
Oh, is that so? And if I'm...
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time.
And you didn't hear anything
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so...
Huh?
hey.
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box, and I definitely heard the...
Look at those scales. Could those mean...
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician. Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
The House of the Hearth?
No wonder they did something like...
So the serial disappearances were the Fatui's doing.
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably...
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing...
Indeed. Then perhaps you could. Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. Unless your script already has holes in it. The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off.
Hey, Linny, why didn't you...
Order! Order! Mr. Linney, first, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and Ms. Lynette are both members of the house. Are these claims true? Please answer my question, Miss...
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
I knew it!
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the
What should we do now?
Granted. In that case, what is your request?
Is that really necessary?
The defendant deceived their own attorneys. What is there left to discuss?
Order! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn.
So you would stick in that case, my dear audience.
Well, this is awkward. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Paimon just knew it. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption not to set the wrong tone or anything. But Paimon's really mad!
I'm very sorry. I know you've clashed with the Fatui several times before. I wouldn't be but our organization is very, very large, and
Right now, we want to save people. As many as...
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this. I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, that's why I didn't wish to flat out lie. The truth is very important. Right. You met a Fatus who worked, but still, I'm...
Sorry.
Well, you both said right. But
Of course. We've been trying to find during our investigation from that moment on.
is that why you needed a home ninja?
That's right. So, after
That air vent was created during the...
Well, what should have been that voice seemed to on the way back. After that,
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
because of that prophecy.
That's the only way we can save...
So, it was never my wish to proceed under the... But, like I said earlier...
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
Okay.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the skill... If we want to refute the Hydra... Huh?
Take it easy.
Both parties have returned to their positions. When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her...
That took long enough. At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linny's perspective. countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud. He did not realize that the sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house. Finally, he used the vase to knock her out before making her change clothes to prevent. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having her. So Linny proceeded to knock him out too before. Afterward, Linny passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box. And there you have it. That's the truth behind what happened.
Does the defendant's side have any objections?
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events. What Linny experienced. See. Linny went to the room that contains the Oratrice's core. This is the actual truth. Linny did not take part in the underground altercation. He only witnessed traces of the... According to Linny, he left via the vent after entering the tunnel.
When the countdown started, Linny did indeed go into the tunnel. But he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where the underground core... Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have... The crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again. Finally, he reached the surface, and that...
In other words, you believe that...
That's right!
If
that's the case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire... Assuming that what you say is true, Linny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance case. What would the point...
Oh.
That's right, you tell him! And that's why they're partners of mine. Oh, well... Your denial is very strident, I'll give you that. Of course I do. If he had been in... You're saying that he wasn't?
Are you sure we don't need to give this more thought? alibi has never...
Well played. To think you'd use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't Linny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
The deceased's name is Cowl, Linny's... Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary audience member. Could there have been a third person? The deceased's name is Cowl. Could there have been a third? The deceased's name is Cowl.
Huh? That can't be right. The killer was, in fact, Cowl, the deceased!
Oh, is that...
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowl did, and how he went from would-be... Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. No one entered or left the No one entered or left the opera house. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the... It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. The sound we heard may have come from a clash. It would have been tough for both people. Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. The deceased's name is Cowl. The sound we heard may have come from a clash. The deceased's name is Cowl. The deceased's name is... Linny was not in the tunnel. The sound we heard may have come from a clash. It would have been tough for both people. Halsey's clothing was in the... No one entered or left the opera... No one entered or left... It would have been tough for both... No one entered or left the opera... The sound we heard may have... The deceased's name is Cowl. Halsey's clothing was...
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you so...
I see.
Look, since we're at a dead end, why not just like the trick as it transpired,
If only we knew... Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel... It's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a...
Excuse my
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment. which gave our criminal The sound we heard may have come from a clash. The deceased's name is Cowl, Linny's assistant. No one entered or left the opera house through its entrances. So, Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. So, there must have been... It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vase. The vase was not broken.
Paimon gets it! It all comes... Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually. If there's a similar method...
Just how could a person ever be transformed into what? Must we? Magic tricks are
Even so, the truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of reasoning, since Cal was the deceased, but given that we aren't making
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the...
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an impasse, guards, please step into the lounge and examine the
We are still examining the items, but we discovered several test tubes of fluid within... The notebook in his backpack claims that these...
The primordials...
The note's contents also indicate that the notebook has meant one of these tubes was... The notes also state, as such, we will...
You gotta be kidding!
That's something so ridiculous.
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain...
If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means... Just a minute. Could that mean...
Demoiselle, wait! What about your part?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Order! Order! Still, let us assume that guards. Mr. Linney.
Of course. If we uphold this hypothesis...
Right! Like the metal hook! That would... Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that...
The rope that strung the water tank up was lit by... The deceased's name is Cowl, Linny's assistant. The water from the primordial sea should already... Lynette was in the magic box on stage. I remember there was something else... Lynette was in the magic box. Lynette was in the magic box on... I remember there was something else. The rope that strung the water tank up was... Lynette was in the magic box. The water from the primordial sea... Lynette was in the magic box on... The water from the primordial sea should... Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick. Now it seems like the hook rope was... I remember there was some...
It's in the original plan. Cowell would tamper with the water tank rope, and the number selector securing his target. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial seed inside it would pour down. Afterward, Cowell would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water, but he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel and wound up being fatally hit by the same water tank he meant to use to cover his...
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually links together.
dear. What do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now.
Now, it seems like the only point of contention remaining. His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related to this.
On that note, I shall now invite him on stage to...
Thank you, Your Honor. And we found it.
What?
That can't be.
Does this not clear? My dear citizens, my loyal... Linny did not need to take part in the dissolution, having made modifications that upon his... Ultimately, he not now, as much as I regret... Am I right?
We've used up all the evidence we could. Is this the end of the...
Oh no! Seems using the...
I think we've all seen enough. I believe this is indeed... Now then, my good...
Excuse me,
Miss, I must ask you not to
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can... What?
No offense, miss, but miracles like...
Come on now, don't be... But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them? And wouldn't such a trick... Come on, Linny and But, as the magic makers and stars of the show...
I understand.
And voila!
Sorry.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So...
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would lessen my sentence. I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me.
That'll teach you to
Where should I begin? I'm sorry.
What?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. I heard that Linny's show was gonna be a real thriller. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there. But I was noticed at the harbor.
Hey! No wonder you look Liddy even mentioned that you were pretty skilled.
Well, and I thought that would have been the end. He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. So I played along with the show. I wasn't going to take that lying down. There was nowhere to run from there, though. I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued.
Can a person even hide in there?
But I swear, I did. Had I known that,
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now.
This time, we need to tell the... The flower vase was... The strange sound wasn't from a... Lillian was afraid that she would be recognized if she left, so she changed clothes and hid.
And it's Ace Detective Paimon time! Having been selected her panic only intensified after hearing the commotion. He did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine, mistakenly believing that the two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lillian came out on top, knocking Cowell out and putting him in the box. With no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and...
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting.
At this point, all the events that...
So bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina. Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet...
What? Are you reading? No. I have no further arguments. I admit defeat.
Wow. Look at that!
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice, the actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, selected his next victim from the audience reservation. With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-select to cover up any evidence while committing the deed. Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from Fontaine, and thus fled the box with a loud noise. Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Lillian. Thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect, he decided. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box, and thus became his own. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before hiding in other parts of the opera. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the opera house. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that Linny, the accused, is in fact...
Hooray, Linny and Lynette!
While there is much in Linny and Lillian, this case, at least, can be handed over to the... As such, Linny and...
Great work, Park.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation. How did you find the water from...
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know.
I suspect that the I'm sure you know what you...
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a...
We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause
And now that your plan has... Therefore, you would...
Yes, our boss. It can also be me. We've been in the...
And now he can no longer...
Such ruthlessness.
An outrageous. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
So, we're just going back now? That's...
Traveler, Paimon! Please wait.
Linny...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now, but still. Let me think, I guess. I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. As for why I'm that was how Father, who you might know as the
A knave?
That's right. And back when our parents to survive, I took my sister through several streets until we found her. To my surprise, before long...
So you went from...
That was how we felt at first, but he would
That doesn't seem true.
After one I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not. The answer he gave me was...
Oh no. So he was
As far as outsiders are concerned, I managed to fare... All I saw was...
So...
That's right. Father, I mean, the House of the Hearth welcomes you. I was hesitant, but she was also quick to destroy the noble who...
Oh, so that...
She has gained permit...
So, she believed...
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently... Today's case has also... All of us to us orphans...
So, from small to...
It's all right. I understand. I just hope you can understand that if you should need anything at all in the future...